evening. I'm Marcus Lovingood, and you're watching Stonewall Live, your weekly dose of local LA activism. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Sasha Perez. How you doing, Sasha?
Doing good. Really excited.
I know we just talked about how amazing the weather is, but I mean, it's just been a really, really wonderful week, I think, right? And so tonight, of course, every Thursday we cover, the club updates, issues that are impacting the greater Los Angeles, statewide issues, and national issues, right? So we're going to get right into it. So we do something every single week that I started last week called your 3 action items for the week. Now, what this is that just 3 things that you need to do right now this week for you to make the most, effective effort in the resistance, right?
3 specific action items that you all can take it.
Exactly. So the first one this week is to call LA Congressman Ed Royce or Steve Knight. Now, Representative Ed Royce and Steve Knight are LA congressmen. Okay, they are congressmen for parts of Los Angeles. Ed Royce is congressman for the Fullerton area, and Steve Knight, I believe, is a little... He's Palmdale. Okay, so they are Republican congressmen.
Yes.
They're Republican congressmen. And as you know, luckily, the Republican healthcare replacement bill ended up not getting to the floor today with a no vote, right? So that's because it didn't have enough Republican support. So what we need you to do is we need you to call Ed Royce. His number is 202-225-4111, or Steve Knight, 202-225-1956, and demand that they continue to vote no and continue to fight for a health care bill that covers everybody. Correct? Because with this new health care bill that was introduced, more people would have been kicked off of their health care than if they would have repealed Obamacare completely, which is crazy. So we'll put those numbers on the screen a little later for you to go and make sure that you call those individuals, Ed Royce, Steve Knight, both of our Republican congressmen here in Los Angeles, to make sure to have your voice heard. Sasha?
Yeah, and I think it's really important to mention too that both of those congressmen Congressman Royce has not said anything about this and has not taken a position, whereas Congressman Steve Knight has had an undecided position. So it's really important that we put pressure on both of those representatives to let them know that we are not supportive of this new healthcare plan. Okay, so moving on to our next action item today. So many of you might have heard, I know that this has been a big push lately coming from a lot of different local LA organizations, that LA County Sheriff McDonald is currently trying to kill the California Values Act bill, and that's SB 54, which would essentially protect our state's immigrants and establish really clear boundaries between ICE and local law enforcement. And so right now, LA County Sheriff McDonald has been fighting to kill that. There's been a lot of discussion as to why that is. Some have suggested that it's because the department currently has contracts with ICE. Whatever the reason is, it's definitely not okay. A lot of local organizations have been pushing for SB 54. We want to make sure that we see that pass. We want to protect the immigrants in this state. And so if all of you could get on Twitter right now and tweet at Sheriff McDonald, his Twitter account is LACO Sheriff, and type hashtag support SB 54 is good for Los Angeles County, for our community, and for our families. We want to make sure that him and his department knows that Los Angeles is very supportive of SB 54.
Absolutely.
Right?
Tweet that.
Exactly. Super duper important. Also, please make sure to call if you have a chance. I know right now the offices are likely closed, but if you can give a call to 800-698-8255 and let them know that you're supportive of SB 54. You're supportive of the California Values Act. We want to see this passed. We want to see California turn into a sanctuary state. It's very, very important that that this bill gets through the legislature, and we cannot let Sheriff McDonald stand in the way of getting that passed. So.
It's well, immigration in California, our entire agricultural economy pretty much depends on, our immigrants from our southern border, pretty much. So this is extremely detrimental to California, and also to small businesses and to this, pulling families apart here in Los Angeles, which we don't want to do, and when we want to make sure that this gets through. All right, so our number 3 action item for this week is a very simple one. Of course, make sure you share this video at least once this week.
Exactly.
Right? It's super simple. Just click that share button and make sure that all your friends can hear about the issues that really matter and how they can get involved to be effective. It's important that you don't get burned out. I understand that lots is happening in Washington, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that the things that we do, the actions that we actually put forth, are effective. We want to make sure that we're not tiring out and that our efforts, though they may be really fantastic, we want to make sure that they're actually getting things done. They're effective, right?
Absolutely.
And so these 3 action items are definitely ways to do that. So next is club news. Sasha, take it away.
So our next big event is actually going to be this Sunday on March 26th. So that is our event where we're partnering with Planned Parenthood. We're participating in the Walk for Equality. We mentioned it last week. So we are fighting for a yes on the ERA. That is the Equal Rights Amendment, which is super important. As I mentioned before, the Equal Rights Amendment is going to protect all women. Right now, currently as it stands, women and girls are left to fight for their rights on a case-by-case basis and on a state-by-state basis. And we want to make sure that women have equal protection across the nation, right? And this is really going to make sure that that happens. So the location is in Pan Pacific Park. That's at 7600 Beverly Boulevard in Los Angeles. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. Kickoff rally begins at 9:30, and the walk starts at 10:30 a.m. We're going to have a lot of amazing speakers there. Confirmed speakers right now are Dolores Huerta, Judy Chu, Hilda Solis, and we're going to be joining together for lunch after just to have a nice conversation about how the march went, maybe talk about some politics.
Yay.
It's going to be really awesome. So we're hoping to see all of you there. Me and Marcus are going to be there.
We will be
a
there.
really great event. So, yeah.
We'll see you come out. That
Yeah.
sounds like so much fun. And you can also RSVP for the event, right, on our website at stonewallyoungdems.org/events. And you can just click register there, and you'll be part of this awesome walk for Planned Parenthood. I love it. It's fantastic. So if you want to get involved in the club, the really easy way to do it, you know how you do that? You get out your phone, okay? You get out your phone, whether it's Android, iPhone, whatever it is, and you text SYD123 to 444999. Now what that's going to do is that's going to ask you for your email address. You're going to send your email address back, and you're going to be added to our email list, which will give you the ability to be updated on all of our events, all the awesome things that we're doing, and just get you involved in local politics, because without you, nothing can get done.
Absolutely.
Right? So, like I said, it's super easy to do. You don't have to go online or do anything like that. You just have to take out your phone and you just text SYD123 to 444999 and follow the instructions so that you can join us
Yes.
in fighting for LGBT rights in Los Angeles. It's just so important.
It's super important, and it's super easy. So just take out your phone, go ahead and shoot off that text, and stay up to date on all of our upcoming events. And if you're not able to make it to this next one, we'll be having events next month in April as well. So
Having a lot of great events. I'm so excited about them. And we're just started. We're just getting started, people. So make sure you get involved. So it's local time, right? My goodness, my favorite part of our our Stonewall live show is Local Talk. We're going to talk about some local events that are happening. So this week, Gavin Newsom, Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, was talking to a San Francisco-based newspaper and said that one of the planks that he is going to run on for his governor run is going to be he is looking to introduce a universal health care bill if he becomes governor. He will push for universal health care here in the state of California. Now, he did something very similar in San Francisco. So he was the mayor of San Francisco, and he pushed for a universal type healthcare system in the city that if you couldn't pay for your healthcare, then the city of San Francisco would pay for it. And I think it was a really great, it was a really, really good program, and it worked in San Francisco. And I think that he believes it will, work for the state of California. Now, my question would be, will combat Villagosa's strong immigration record?
Mhm.
What do you think, Sasha?
I don't. That's definitely going to be a tough one. The run for the governorship. I know Treasurer John Chiang, is also going to be running as well, and he's going to be some tough competition too.
A little crowded, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a very competitive race, and I think that Newsom, Villagosa, and Chiang all offer some very, very good background and experience. Chiang obviously handled the state budget when every other state was going into crisis, and he really made sure that California stayed afloat. So he has that on his record too. So him, Villagosa, and Newsom, all some really great politicians.
I think this was a really big thing for Newsom this week. I think this was an opportunity for him to say that I'm really serious about the issues at hand.
Definitely.
Because, as you know, we talked about last week, State Senators Tony Atkins and Ricardo Lara have introduced a single-payer health care bill to the state legislature. And it's just really wonderful. I think it's great that California continues to be the leader in standing up against what is happening in Washington.
Definitely.
Because we're about to lose our health care, and it's a great way to look back. Now, to combat that, of course. But we'll see. I don't really know what Mayor Villagosa's stance is on healthcare, right? But, I mean, do you think it's going to be strong enough? Do you think he's going to be able to pull out something that's going to be able to match it?
I don't know. We'll see, especially with single-payer healthcare being now on the table, right, with Tony Atkins and Ricardo Lara's bill. So if that goes ahead and that passes, just thinking about too, like the policy implications that'll have if Newsom wants to go ahead and is he going to put together a new plan? Is he going to take on the current plan? There's a lot of moving pieces that could happen,
a lot of questions.
Right?
We
Yeah,
have
definitely
a
lot of questions, and especially with the Trump administration. Everyone's definitely looking. All of our legislators are looking at how they can best protect California. So
That's great.
yeah,
We love this state. We love it so much. So it's now time to talk about prep, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about prep, baby. So it's our prep talk of the week, which I'm reporting to you on my experiences with prep. I just started on prep last week. It's my second week on it, and it's been just fine. Some symptoms, some side effects, a little bit, but I generally have some stomach problems anyway, so it hasn't been too bad. But I want to talk about this week when it comes to our prep talk. I want to talk about prep in relation to what's going on right now. So a lot of individuals that receive prep right now are actually able to get it covered and paid for by Obamacare, by the Obamacare Medicaid expansion, and of course by the subsidies that it gives some insurance companies to pay for it, that gives Gilead the ability to pay for it. Now, what's really concerning about this, for me, is that if the Obamacare repeal goes through, especially something that's very similar to the Obamacare repeal that was just introduced, and thank God it was canceled, is that if Medicaid is cut by any way, PrEP is no longer going to be affordable for this amount of people.
wow.
PrEP right now, if you were to pay for it, retail is over $1,500 a month. If you have Medi-Cal here in California, California pays for it. And what's important about that is that more people being on PrEP, that means that we are able to combat the spread of HIV. It's been a very influential medication in helping stopping that spread, as we talked about before. But if we have a healthcare bill that doesn't continue to have support for Medicaid expansion, then people aren't going to be able to afford it, and they're going to be pushed off of it. And what's really difficult about that is that same-sex practices, when it comes to safe sex practices, unfortunately are not going to change when it comes to when the drug goes away. So what that means is that a lot of individuals in the gay community might have loosened their same-sex practices or their sexual practices, their safe sex practices, and now that they're not going to have access to PrEP and they get off of PrEP, those riskier behaviors are going to continue. And what that is going to do is that's going to cause HIV and the spread of HIV to rise again.
And Marcus, if I could just ask you really quick, so how much would PrEP be if there wasn't assistance or coverage? If we weren't getting this assistance through the ACA right now, then what would the cost be?
Cost is about $580 a month.
Wow.
That's how much it costs.
Wow. That's more than my rent. That's insane.
And most people cannot afford that cost. And especially with something that you can't really see the effects every single day. You know, it's not like, a vitamin or something like that, where not even a vitamin or a medication where it actually, you can see it, taking effect. It's much harder to see that because it's more of a protective agent. So this is why it's so important that we fight for a universal or single-payer healthcare bill, because these types of life-saving drugs are incredibly important to help keep the LGBT community safe.
Absolutely.
To keep us healthy. So, like we had said before, in our 3 action items this week, right, you need to call your congressman. You need to call these LA congressmen, your congressman, Ed Royce and Steve Knight. Put those numbers up again in the recast. And you need to tell them that the Medicaid expansion saves lives, saving our lives. And if not, the spread of HIV is going to rise again, and it's going to completely threaten our health. So that's our PrEP talk for this week, and I hope all of you will follow. So Supervisor Yvonne Burke is a LA County supervisor, and it's great that we're talking about this in regards to PrEP. She has been a champion of the LGBT community for many, many years, right? And we are honoring and we're spotlighting her tonight because hopefully she's going to be a guest on our show.
Yes, very soon.
Very soon.
Coming. I'm really excited.
Some information about her. She was the first African American woman to be elected to the state assembly, which is super awesome.
Oh, yeah, big deal. Very big deal. She's also been named one of America's 200 future leaders by Time, and she was named Woman of the Year by the Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
So we're really looking forward to have her here, and just so she can kind of speak to some of the work that she's done, right?
She's done a lot of work for African Americans in the HIV community. In the gay community, African Americans is the community that is most heavily affected by HIV and AIDS. And there's specifically 4,300 African Americans in Los Angeles that are currently living with AIDS. So she has done a lot of work with elected officials in putting a lot of emphasis and really getting funding for programs and helping those individuals in our city. So, let's continue to support, politicians and elected officials like County Supervisor Yvonne Burke.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with support and with love, and because she's going to continue to fight for us, right? Especially during some of these really difficult times that we're facing right now with HIV and with the cut of our health care. So now we go to state and nationwide talk. Sasha?
Yes. Well, first of all, let's just jump really quickly into Trump's proposed budget. So I know that this has been a topic of conversation. I believe he released his budget proposal almost a week ago now. I think it's been maybe about like 6 days. So I'm sure many of you saw some of the numbers, and we actually went ahead and we have some of them right here, right? So huge cuts to the EPA, cutting 31% of their funding, right? And big increases to defense. So, this is all very, very concerning, right? I think.
Read through them.
Yeah.
Just read these crazy, shocking numbers.
So the proposal right now, it's going to be for the EPA a 31% cut, which is $2.6 billion. And I just want to highlight here one of the big things I think that's important to everyone, right? Conservatives, liberals, across the political spectrum is jobs and job security. 3,200 staff positions are going to be removed because of these cuts, right? That's over 20% of the department. It's very, very concerning, right? We're also talking about eliminating funding for some of the research programs that are currently going on, and some of the funding that was going to enact the Clean Power Plan, which would have curbed greenhouse gas emissions, which obviously huge contributors to global warming. So very, very, very concerning.
Yep. No bueno at all. He's going to cut 29% from state and other development programs. It's about $10.9 billion from those state programs. United Nations, big cuts coming. Really unfortunate. Agriculture, cutting 21% of the agricultural budget, $4.7 billion, unfortunately, which really affects the state of California because we produce quite a bit of the country's agriculture here in California.
Yes.
So.
And another big reason why the agricultural cuts have been discussed a lot, so I'm sure many of you have heard that that WIC is going to be losing about $2 million with his new plan. And WIC, as you currently know, is an assistance program for women and children. Single mothers really benefit from this program. It's going to really be hitting them hard. This is a very important program to fund. So it's really shocking to see a lot of this budget. I know another program that's going to be harshly hit is I think it's Meals on Wheels. It's another one
Meals on Wheels. It's going to be stopped. Which
yes, and that's very concerning, right?
Well, it's more than just concerning. It's criminal, is what it is. I mean, it's taking meals away from people that need it. It's like I don't know what is going through Washington's head that can even be a thing. But
so we're right now. This is a proposed budget, right? So. This is definitely, there's no guarantee that this is going to be what the final budget looks like, but this gives us a good idea of where Trump's priorities are. They're clearly not with the environment. Military spending is definitely a huge priority to him, and it'll be interesting to see where this goes. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this, right, Marcus?
Absolutely.
And we're going to be giving you all updates as this continues to work its way through the legislature. So it's really important, and I think Stonewall will probably be talking about this within the club as well, and just what we can do about this, what kind of stance we should be taking on this. But definitely very, very scary to see this.
Something I want to talk about tonight is a bill that State Senator Scott Wiener has introduced into the state Senate, and it's a bill that would decriminalize HIV disclosure. And what that means is currently, if you're HIV positive and you do not disclose your HIV status to someone, and you knowingly expose them to the virus, that's a felony in the state, and you go to jail for upwards of 15 years if that can be proven. Now, this is a bill that is being introduced by Scott Wiener that would make the penalties for this type of non-disclosure drop to just a misdemeanor. So, a few things. The pro side about this is that we need to, as much as we possibly can, destigmatize HIV.
Absolutely.
It's something that is very important. It's something that has plagued the HIV community for a very long time. And I think that we have made leaps and bounds. But to criminalize someone's disclosure, especially as a felony, which a felony, you lose all your rights as an American, by the way, if you are convicted of a felony. Just because you didn't disclose your HIV status shouldn't be as it is. This is what the pro argument is. The argument against this is that we at all costs need to make sure that we keep our community healthy. Health 100% should be our top priority. Disclosure of HIV status keeps our community healthy. Knowledge and information about the status of your partner keeps both of you healthy. Keeps you healthy and keeps your other partners healthy. If that person doesn't know that, let's say that they are negative and they don't know that you are positive, and you get them and you infect them with HIV, then that is a crime. It is a crime because that, in essence, you are putting that person at risk and you're putting the rest of the community at risk, because disclosure, right, is how we stay healthy. So with both of those arguments, Sasha, what do you think about that? Where do you think the law stands about this? I think it's very similar to the medical cannabis debate, I feel. If you decriminalize it, then more people are going to use it. So do you think that by decriminalizing the disclosing HIV status is going to make people with HIV not disclose it?
I don't know. And that's a really good question. I'd be interested to see if there was any sort of research on that subject in particular, because I think that's kind of like at the heart of this bill, is this idea that by putting something like this in place and by criminalizing this, that it might actually maybe keep people from getting help because they're experiencing this stigma. So I can understand that concern. I know I've also, reading about this, I saw a discussion about, criminalizing specifically HIV, and why other types of STDs and STIs aren't criminalized, and whether or not we should do that. So I think I'd be really interested to see some research on this subject, to see, to see how frequently those types of interactions are happening, and how those feel about it. Do they feel like this is something that, is affecting them, affecting their lives? I think that's really important. I know that this is a really, really touchy subject, especially, for those that are diagnosed. I know that it's something that's very, very hard on people. So
it is hard.
I think that I think that this is a subject that definitely we need some more research on it. We're going to need some more data on it before we can say a definite make a definite decision. At least for me in particular.
Yeah, there are some numbers. There have been about 357 convictions for this specific crime of non-disclosure that have ended in felonies. But majority of these convictions involved sex work, by the way. So.
Oh yes, that was right.
Which is another huge problem.
Yes.
But for me, I very much think that it's a health issue. It's a health concern. And if we tell people that have HIV that it's okay that you engage in, say, risky sexual activity with someone and not disclose your HIV status and think that that's okay. And I think that that's going to encourage people just to not disclose it. It's going to be a health issue. And it's I know it's difficult, and I know it's hard for people living with HIV to think that, but you have to think less about yourself. You have to think more about the whole community and the health of the community as well. But this isn't making it okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is just lessening the conviction from a felony to a misdemeanor. It would still be a misdemeanor, and you still have to serve a lot of time.
And it's I had actually forgotten, reading that a lot of those cases were from sex workers, and I think that when we look at those numbers and realize that it actually gets into a whole different conversation about how do we handle sex work in this state, decriminalizing sex work, providing, making sure that sex workers have access to health care, making sure that sex workers are, getting tested, that, they're being provided all of these extra benefits. Because, right now I know that, here in California, it's an industry that's mostly in the dark. So I think that's actually a whole nother subject too that needs to be addressed.
I
right?
agree. Absolutely.
That's definitely happening because of legality. So I think there's some policy issues that need to be worked out there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like to get involved in what we're doing here at the Stonewall Young Democrats, please join. Become a member.
Definitely.
That's like the best thing to do, because you become part of our mailing list. You get to vote and all the things, awesome proposals and things that we get to participate in, and you get to be part of an awesome family.
And you get to hang out with us.
Right.
That's also really great.
Right? I mean, gosh, you get like a whole new group of friends. Right? And it's an easy way to do that. You can either text SYD123 to 444-999, and you'll get our email list. And in that email that's going to be sent to you when you send back your email is a way for you to join. And it's only $20 to join for the whole year. That's it. And that will get you plugged in to the heartbeat of local politics that we're doing here at Stonewall Young Dems.
Absolutely, yes. Join the conversation.
Yeah. Join us, please. You're so welcome. And we want you to make sure that you feel welcome as well, because we're one big family. Now, if you'd like to go a little further and you'd like to use the power of the purse and really make your voice heard, and help the club do what it does, help us fight for LGBT rights, help us elect pro-LGBT candidates and people of color, is donate to Stonewall Young Dems. And we've made it extra easy for you to donate. And you're going to take out your phone again. It's another text opportunity. And all you have to do is text Stonewall, Stonewall, like Stonewall Young Dems. All you do is text Stonewall to 855-735-2437. Once again, that's Stonewall to 855-735-2437. Now, it's going to ask you how much you'd like to donate. Now, what's a really cool thing, if you'd like to donate and become a member, donate $20. And then if you donate $20, then you'll automatically become a member while also donating to the club.
Awesome. Kill two birds with one stone, right?
Right. Awesome. So it'll take you through some instructions, and then in the future, if you want to give to us, all you have to do is text give 5, give 100, give 20. If you want to give to one of our projects or proposals that we're doing, you can do that right from your phone, and it'll save all of your information. Super easy.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of Stonewall Live. We really appreciate you getting involved and giving us your time. I'm Marcus Levingood.
I'm Sasha Perez. We'll see you all soon next Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m.
Have a good week, everybody. Bye.